So starting a business as a military veteran was one of the best decisions I ever could have made in my entire life. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about how to start a business as a veteran. First, I'm gonna talk to you about why I needed to start a business as a military veteran. Then I'm gonna talk about the steps I took to start the business. And by the end of this episode, you're gonna be well on your way to becoming a veteran business owner. All right, so here's my story. I joined the military October 2009. And I had already owned a business. I already had a lawn service, a landscape company. I was a licensed Florida real estate agent. I had a rental property, and things kind of went south for me in 2009. Like, things weren't working very well. And she's now my ex-wife, but her grandfather, I really looked up to this guy. He actually introduced me to Jim Rohn, not in the person, but through cassette tapes. And I ended up having to transfer these cassette tapes to CDs, and I would listen to them in my truck going down the road every single day. And if you don't know who Jim Rohn is, definitely Google him one day when you get a chance. An amazing business philosopher. Well, my grandfather also told me that I probably should join the military or look into joining the military because they paid for school. They helped with schooling, and I probably needed to do kind of a reset. Things weren't going too well for me in 2009. Basically, I had sold my company, I had gotten my real estate license, bought a rental property, and immediately moved over to the coast and wasn't doing too well. And then that's why ultimately I had to join the military. So I joined the military and I was fast tracking. I started at E1, got all the way to E5 very quickly, and then I was selected for a program called the Active Duty Green to Gold program, where the military actually pulled me out of my second deployment. I was in the Army. I was in my second deployment to Afghanistan, and they pulled me out of Afghanistan and sent me to school to be an Army officer. Well, things were going very well. Like I'd already talked about, I ended up having a divorce during this time because I was always away, always gone, always training, always deployed, and basically never home to be there as a good husband. So I ended up fast forwarding, meeting the woman of my dreams. We get married very shortly, around 2016. We end up having a baby, a newborn, and guess what? History was repeating itself with me. I was always gone, always in the field, always away on another deployment cycle, and I did not want history to keep repeating itself. I was running away from pain, and that pain was possibly having a second divorce, this time with children involved, and I'm never around to see my children. And that was what the military was doing. It wasn't the military's fault. I signed up for that. I was just not doing well as a father, as a husband, because I was always gone. So I needed to change that. I needed to start a business to allow me to get out of the military, and that's why I share the story. People are motivated by two things. Fear, or basically the gain of pleasure, or the fear of failing or running away from pain. I was running away from pain because I was afraid of failing once again. So that's why I had to start a business as a veteran, as a military veteran, and that business for me was land investing. So then I want to talk to you about, yours might not be land investing, yours might not be real estate like it was for me, but I want you to pick your passion. I want you to know what your passion is as a person. What would get you out of bed every single morning early? What would keep you up late every night to, make your passion work? And that should be the business that you choose, because you're going to be spending a lot of time in this business. It's basically going to be your marriage, because it takes a lot to get a business off the ground. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of passion. So I want you to pick something that you're actually like doing. And here's the thing. It's really easy. Like, think about back in your childhood. What did you want to be when you grew up? What would you do for free even if you weren't paid to do it? If everything was covered, all your expenses, all your housing and your transportation, what would you do for free? And another way to figure that out is, what are you good at? Like, I say, do what you do best and let everyone else do the rest, because what you're good at is usually what you like. If you're really good at carpentry or, just fidgeting and building things, create a business around that. And finally, another business idea is, look for problems, look for things you can solve, look for services. For me, that was land. That was land investing. There weren't a lot of people doing land investing. I noticed there was a lot of people out there on the tax delinquent list, people that weren't paying their back taxes for their land. And I notified these people with the letter saying, hey, I'd like to buy your land If you're interested in an all cash fair offer, give me a call or text me, and I'd love to buy the land. God bless. And I would give him my phone number, and that phone would ring, and I would get these properties under contract at a discount, and then I would figure out what I could sell them for. And sometimes I got them under contract for too high, and I'd have to go back to the seller and just, eat dirt pie and say, look, I made a mistake. And then I learned that, I should figure out what it's worth first before I get it under contract. And then I would find a buyer before I would buy this property, because then I didn't want to get stuck with the land. So all these little things I learned as a business owner through trial and error. So I want you to come up with a plan of what your passion is, and then I want you to put that plan on paper. And then I'm going to talk about what to do next. But before I do, smash that subscribe button, because I come out with these videos 5 days a week. And thank you so much for doing that. It really helps those YouTube algorithms that make me look really cool on YouTube. So thanks again for doing that. And thanks for supporting a military veteran by hitting that subscribe button. All right, let's keep going. So I talked about coming up with that plan that you're passionate about, and now I want to talk about small daily wins. Me and my wife were actually just having this conversation. My wife is launching a book here in just a few days called Mother Trauma, and it's such a huge undertaking. My wife said yesterday, who'd have thought writing a book is literally creating a business? Because we're talking about having to get a bookkeeper, an accountant, and taxes, and all these expenses that we're racking up. We're doing a book launch party on Monday. But she's like, who'd have thought this was like a total business? And there's always so much to do. Like, I go to bed thinking about it, I wake up thinking about it. And I asked her, I was like, what if I told you could only accomplish one thing each day in your business? One thing. We call those daily small wins. A small win every single day, because if there's only one thing you need to accomplish each day, for me, it's recording this video. If nothing else happens for the rest of the day, in business that is, I will be accomplished. I'm not going to go to bed feeling guilty or shameful like I didn't work on my business today. And for me, that's recording this video. For her tomorrow, that might be calling the caterer for the book launch party. So you want to accomplish one small daily win each and every single day in your business. And you can do that with anything in your life. If you're trying to improve your relationship with your wife or your husband, what is the one thing I need to accomplish today? What is the one thing I need to do for my children today to help them succeed in this world, this ever-changing world? What is the one thing I need to do for my parents today, because they might not be around forever? So small daily wins is what I call that, and I learned that from my mentor Tom Kroll, who created Wholesaling Inc. So I did not come up with that, but that's one thing that I've lived my life by, and I say this now because it just further ingrains it into myself. Next, I want to talk about the outcome. What is the outcome that you're actually looking to achieve with that small daily win? The outcome for me with this video could be to share it with you and get another subscribe hit. The outcome for me tomorrow, I need to contact the seller on a piece of land, and the outcome for that is I need to see what the minimum amount of investment I need to be in at to be invested into this development project. This is a large piece of land that we're buying, and it's more money than I have. So I need to see what the minimum investment is to get me into the deal. The outcome is me getting into this development deal. We're basically doing a 300 pad RV park with all the amenities. So the outcome is I want to be an owner in that RV park. I don't need to own the whole thing. It could be a very small piece of the pie, but that's my outcome. So I need to make that phone call to that developer tomorrow. So that is the outcome driven. And if you look at it, it's like, it's just a huge to-do list. Things are happening on my to-do list. I'm never gonna finish it. I want you to start focusing on the outcome that changes everything. And next I want to talk about, are you going to be a sole proprietor or are you going to start an LLC? This might be further down the road for starting a business as a veteran, but these are little things you want to start thinking about right now. It's okay to be an LLC. It's okay to be a sole proprietor. I recommend you talking to a CPA or a tax consultant or accountant about these sorts of things. And finally, I want to leave you with a little bit of inspiration, motivation. This is my friend Daniel Watson that I had the pleasure to interview him on the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. This is episode number 889. Daniel is able to create almost $100,000 a month in net profit as an active duty Army officer currently in command of a company. So head on over to wholesalinginc.com/podcast, and that is episode 889. And also, if you want to go straight to that link, just click the drop down for the description, click on that link and listen to that podcast, and just be prepared to be inspired.